In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create this blanket using multiple colors and using a half double crochet. For this project, I'll be using multiple colors of this yarn, and then I will also be using a 5mm hook. Before we jump any further into the video, if you guys are new, please subscribe, and then don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So the first thing we need to do is make a slip knot. You just wrap this around your thumb, and then take this yarn and push it through and grab that loop, and then both of these at the same time. Now, if you'd like to see this slower and in more detail, you can check out my video description for a full video on just making a slip knot. So now you need to grab your yarn. So I wrap this around my pinky and then put my hand flat with my finger underneath and pinch with my middle and my thumb. So make sure your knot is that the hook can move, but it is snug. It shouldn't be too loose or too tight. So now we need to make a chain. Okay, so you're going to hook the yarn and pull it through. Then you're going to hook, turn the hook down, pull through. Oops. Okay, so you're hooking this with it up, turn it down, pull it through. So now again, I have another video that is just on how to do a chain, so you can check that out in the video description as well. But just make your chain, and this should be as long as you want your blanket to be. So the width of this is usually the way you want to go. But a blanket can be, 100, 200 of these. So we're just going to do a sample size. So let's just pretend that this is a really, really long chain, as wide as you want a blanket. So now we're going to do our double half crochet. So what we're going to do is you can kind of see, if you look at it, it almost looks like V's a little bit. So let me take this off and flatten it. You can kind of see they're almost like V's that go down, and you can see the little spaces. So you want to go like right at the base of those V's. So for the double half crochet, I go into the third one. So this is 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to hook this. I'm going to go straight through that bottom V. Okay, and I'm just using my fingers for support. When it comes out the other side, you're going to hook this again and pull it back through. So now you should have 3 on there, and you're just going to hook and pull it straight through. Now, if this was a double crochet, you would go through the first 2 and then the second 2. So that's why it's called a double half crochet. So that's why it's called a half double crochet. So again, you're going to hook. We're going to go into this next hole. Okay. When it comes out the other side, you're going to hook it and pull it back through. So there's 3. And then you hook and pull it through all 3. Okay, so let me do it one more time. So hook through the bottom of the V. Hook your yarn again and pull it back through. So there's 3. Hook, go through all. So I'm going to finish this out, and then I will show you how we would rotate and do the next row. So I do want to mention, when you finish the first one, it might look like this, and this might happen multiple times. It's totally fine. You just kind of uncurl it, and I kind of just stretch it a little bit to reshape it. There we go. So that's our first row. Now what we're going to do is you always want to work from the right side to the left. So we need to do a couple stitches and then rotate it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do 1, 2. Okay, so you're just doing 2 chains, and then rotate your work, because we always want to go from right to left. Now, this is, to me, is a little bit easier. If I hold it just like this, you can see all those holes along the top. That's exactly where we're going. So you can see this first one right here. If I stretch it, there's a hole right there. But this is already our post. So we don't want to go into that one, because that's already counting as 1. So I'm going into this very next one. So same thing, you're going to hook. We're going to go straight through that hole, and then when it comes out the other side, you're going to hook it and pull it back through. Now I'm just taking my finger and kind of rotating this so I can see it a little better. So there's 3 on there, so you will hook and pull through all 3. Now I'm going really slow, so that's why I keep getting stuck. Also, if your tension is too tight, that's going to happen a lot, and tension is you pulling on this yarn really, really tight. I've never really seen a beginner do this too loose. It's always too tight. So try to keep your hands loose if you can. This yarn should kind of slide through your fingers. So we're going to hook this and go right into this next hole. Okay, when it comes out the other side, you're going to hook the yarn again and pull it back through. So you have 3. Then you're going to hook and go through all of them. So So I'll do that again. So hook, go through this hole, hook it again and pull it back through, then hook and go through all 3. So hook through the hole, hook it again and pull it back through the hole, then you're gonna hook and go through all 3. So that's what we're doing for the whole project. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you a few more. I'll try to go slow, hooking it in the hole, hook, back through the hole, hook through all 3. Hook through the hole, hook, back through the hole, hook through all 3. So now I'm going to finish this row out and show you how I am switching colors for my blanket. So here's the blanket I've been working on, and as you can see, all the ends where the 2 colors meet have little ties on them. So I started with black and I'm ending with black. So I'm going to rotate this over. This is why I wanted to do a sample, because I didn't want you to get overwhelmed with like all this stuff going on. But let me show you how I'm going to do my last row and how I've been connecting all these colors. So there's 3 methods you can do for tying knots. I am going to leave that video in the description as well. But for me, I just prefer to tie knots. I just think it's easier, faster, simple, whatever. So you have this last little one, and I cut the tail off. You want to probably cut anywhere from 4 to 6 inches so you have something to work with. And then all I do is I pull this until I get right to the end, right before it's going to come out, and just kind of pinch that with my nail. And I usually take a couple rows out just so I have something to work with. So now this is exactly where I need to tie it. So I am just going to make like an X with the other yarn. So I make an X over top of that one. Okay, so now it's like this. And I'm literally just going to tie a knot right there. Now, I always tie it loose at first, because if for some reason that doesn't line up properly, then I can redo it. So now I'm just going to finish off those last couple of stitches again. So hook through the hole, hook, pull it back through, hook and through all 3. So we've got one more. So hook through this hole, hook, and you can see right where I stopped is the new color. So I'm going to get rid of the 2 tails. Those are the cut pieces, and this is the new color I'm working with. So now when I hook this and pull this through, my next row literally started with the new color. So let me show you how to now rotate this. I am going to put something behind it though, because this is why I was showing you just a sample, because it's really hard to see with all these colors. Okay, so now I've got that next row, and I'm going to just hook this, and we're going to go right into black. So I'm hooking this once and twice, and now I'm going to rotate, because again, we want to go from right to left. Okay, so now I've rotated my work, so we're going to hook and go through this first hole right here, and then we're going to hook and pull it back through until I have 3 on. Now I'm going to hook and pull it through all 3, and we'll do it again. Hook, go through the next hole, and hook, pull it back through, and then through all 3. And we're literally just repeating that throughout the whole entire project. But you're just going to kind of go back and forth. You can see all the different colors that I've done. And I'll show you guys how I'm going to hide those, and then also how I'm going to end this project. Okay, so to demonstrate the last part, which is ending your project, I'm going to use another sample piece. So these are 2 of the colors I'm using for my blanket, but my blanket is obviously like 1,000 times longer. So this would be like the end of the blanket, and this is the start of the blanket. So this one's already been tied off when I did my foundation chain. And then here I've done my last stitch. So what we're going to do to end it is really super easy. All you're going to do is take the last piece of yarn and stick it right through the hole like that. Okay, and then you're just going to keep pulling it until it gets snug. So you're pretty much just making a knot right there. So that's really all you need to do to end it. And now we need to get rid of all these tails. So for the blanket that I'm doing, every time I switch colors, I'd have 2 tails, 1 for each color. And then at the beginning of your blanket, you'll have a tail, and at the end, you'll have a tail. Now, if you run out of yarn anywhere, you'll also have this. So potentially, you'll have all these different things that you'll have to sew in. Now to finish this, you're going to need a large needle. You can use a plastic one that's specifically for crochet. I prefer metal because I think it moves a little bit easier. So I'm going to do the end that I pretty much stopped the blanket with, because this color is a lot easier to show you. But we've got this long tail. So I'm going to take my needle, and I'm just, let me focus here. I'm just pinching it. That way it's a lot easier to get through the needle. There we go. So I'm going to take this now and we're going to go just kind of behind these stitches. And I'm just going to weave it in and out. You kind of go in between. It's like going, so you can't really see it too much on this side or on this side. So I'm just kind of weaving it through. And you want to do anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. Sorry, this keeps going in and out of focus. Okay, and then we're just going to pull like that. Now, this tail's really long, so what I'm going to have to do is just pull the yarn so that it comes out. Let me get that. There we go. Okay, now if this got all scrunched like that, you just give it a tug and it straightens back out. Okay, so now we're just going to cut this piece off. Just get it really close. Don't cut your project. And there you go. You can't really see at all where I just weaved it in. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing on the end of the black, which was technically the start of my blanket. And this is where I ran out of yarn. So this is a good example. You can see how short, I forgot to leave like a longer tail. So let me show you how you would do this, because you're not going to be able to weave this on the needle first. So what we're going to do is take the needle without weaving it on, and I'm going to just put this through a few of these strands. So we're going to go through these 2 and then probably those 2, because it's not very long. I'm going to get this all the way down. So I'm going to take my yarn and I'm just going to pinch it like I did before and put that through. Okay. So now I've already got the needle through there, and so all I have to do now is just give it a tug. Oops. So just give it a tug. There we go. And it went through. So, and you saw if I pulled it back a little bit, now the tail is completely gone. So I need to do the same thing with this one, but I'm going to go up maybe like a little higher. So we'll go up here. It doesn't really matter where you weave it in and out, just get it through. Here we go. Okay, so now I need to take this end right here and do the same thing. Okay, so it's through already. Oops, now I just got this end through. And we'll just give that a tug. There we go. And it just like disappears. So that's all you have to do for all of the different ends. And that's pretty much it, and your blanket will be done. So that's pretty much it for today's video. This blanket could potentially take a while, just depending on how big you want it, but the stitch is really easy to do, and you just repeat it over and over. Now, if you can't remember how to start a new row, you can go to the beginning of this video and just watch that segment again. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments below. Also, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and then hit this bell so you're alerted when I upload a new video.